Hello. Today I'd like to share some thoughts on equilibrium. Now, equilibrium is not a word you hear very often. It's a word I like to use because I think it's a great word for the language of the new reality. Now, why, you might ask, is equilibrium a great word for the new reality? Well, I think while it conveys a feeling of balance, it has a larger, more comprehensive meaning for our evolution as we step into the new reality. Equilibrium is both a state of adjustment between divergent and opposing influences, and at the same time a state of balance between dynamic influences, which are influences where there's things going back and forth, and static influences, which are the things that come at us. And it's the balance between those kinds of things together with the adjustment. You know, when we think about balance as the old reality word, it's positive and negative. So it's about balancing the positive and the negative. And with equilibrium, it's the adjustment as well as the balance between the influences and forces that come at us. You know, as an example, I was on a cruise a couple years ago, and during the cruise, I like to watch folks a lot. I think a lot of us do. And I was really noticing how people were conveying who they were. There were the fearful people, and the faces were just of superior. I'm superior. I'm inferior. Don't talk to me. The closed faces. Very few open and neutral faces. And as we look in the mirror, I think part of our equilibrium is to be open and neutral. And it's good for us to look in the mirror and see what kind of faces we're conveying, because it's our attitude is part of our equilibrium, how we do that. And we have to know, do you know that all is well? Do you believe that? Or do you doubt it? Because these are the kind of questions that we need to deal with as we struggle with our equilibrium, as we do our adjustments. And while worlds are dividing, and we can no longer keep one foot in one world and one in the other, this shift is happening right in front of our eyes. And what I noticed on the cruise ship was that no matter what kind of seas we're in, whether they were rough or whether they were medium or whatever was going on, the ship's stabilizers maintained a balance and kept the ship steady all the way. And I think of equilibrium as our stabilizer. Of course, I also think all our spiritual tools are our stabilizers. You know, they keep us steady. They kept the ship steady. Steady as she goes. And so equilibrium, as our stabilizers, keeps us steady as we go. So as we step into the new reality, part of it is, no more making up stuff. No more mental arguments with ourselves. Release the need for control. Release the need for forgiveness. Release the need for gratitude. I mean, these are all wonderful things, but they're not a need. They're not what we need in our state of equilibrium. We are all carrying and holding the energy for the wonderful manifestations coming to our world, slowly but surely. We are the midwives of the new reality. It begins now, with you, with me, with all of us of like mind. So keep your equilibrium stabilizers in place, steady as we go. Thanks for listening. Aho.